Good Monday morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Just a reminder, if you're participating in the back to school supply thing for CASA here in Eugene, we've got the box upstairs through Friday. You can drop off any school supplies you want to contribute. That would be terrific. If you've got friends, family that want to help out, that's great. It's again Friday afternoon. I think they're going to be taking that away and they'll sort all the stuff out and that type of thing. So appreciate everybody's help with that and everything everyone's doing with CASA. Also up north, remember in Benton County, September 11th is the big CASA event up there. We should be getting some stuff in writing on that pretty quickly. But mark your calendar for the evening of September 11th up in Corvallis. I was at the Broker Owner Conference, as you know, last week, spent about 4 days there. And in addition to hearing what's new with REMAX, they often bring in economists. So you've got, REMAX's CEO, Margaret Kelly's on the Federal Reserve, Dave Liniger, who's been in the real estate business for 112 years or something like that. Okay, in case you're watching Dave, it's not that long, and I'm sure he is. Also, they brought in an economist from Bank of America, used to be an economist for the National Association of Realtors, so there's a lot of stuff on what's going on economically. And the one thing, a couple things I heard, good news and bad news. The good news is it was generally the consensus that the low rates we're seeing right now, which as everyone knows have gone down significantly in the last 6 weeks, that are hovering around, 4.5% right now. They think those rates are going to stay in that range for the next year to 18 months, maybe not at 4.5, but certainly buzzing around that 5 number. And the reason they feel that way is just because as bad as the American economy is, it's still one of the better ones in the world for foreign investors to invest in. And so that's going to keep those rates low. They feel like they're going to be going up in a year, 18 months, just because the amount of debt the United States is taking on by the minute, it seems. That's going to make those investments less attractive for international buyers. I'm getting way out there on this stuff, though. For international folks, so that rate's going to have to go up. They're actually seeing not inflation, which is always a concern, but deflation, which is a bigger concern. Last quarter, there's actually deflation in certain segments of the market, which makes economists a lot more nervous than inflation. So interest rates, that's a good thing. The general consensus, and I'd like to say I don't agree with it, but I do, is that the market we've had in 9 and 10 is probably the market we're going to have in 11, and yes, out there even till 12, just because the jobs aren't coming back. And I think we can all agree, even if interest rates went down to zero, and they're getting pretty close to that now, if people are afraid they're not going to have a job, or they just plain don't have a job, or they've got a part-time job, or their wages have been cut, interest rates are almost irrelevant. If they don't have a job, they can't make a payment, even a free payment, no interest loan. So that's kind of what's happening. So the economist's view, and again, I tend to agree, is probably we're in this. Dave Liniger said, we've been in it in most of the country about 3 years. He says, I think we're just about halfway, which is not particularly exciting. However, the good news, while we haven't seen realtors leaving, this is not the good news, while we haven't seen realtors leaving the organization, we haven't seen them on the national level, the state level, and in our local markets, we've seen very few realtors leaving the market. But what you see is that they're going to companies or staying at existing companies and producing less and less and less and less. So it used to be in the old days the realtors got out of the market. Well, I think there's a couple reasons they're not. One is there aren't other jobs out there to go to. And number two, there's enough different business models that cater to the lower production and that type of thing that they're able to stay as a realtor, certainly not in our organization at REMAX, but in many of them, and still stay in the realtor ranks. So we're still seeing that thinning. They just happen to still be a realtor and licensed. But when you look at the production, it's being done by that top third, and we've talked about those numbers 100 times, and we'll talk about them more as we get updated information. So again, buckle up. We're in this for a couple more years, it looks like, although the good news is a lot of us as a company and a lot of you as individuals have made the adjustments needed. You're working harder, you're working longer, you're embracing short sales, which I realize are not fun, but that is where the market is right now. They confirmed again between short sales and REOs, that's about 50% of the market nationwide, and I think if you look at it in our market, it's probably not too far off here as well. Corvallis, you being an exception, you're in a little bit of a bubble up there, you guys in Corvallis. Everybody move to Corvallis, that's the spot to go. So that's what I learned at the convention. The other thing is, one thing REMAX nationally has refocused on, as we have locally, as you heard about in the State of the Union, which I gave 8 months ago or whatever, they're really focusing on productive agents. When you look at the stats, per agent production nationally, when they rate us against all the other national companies, RE/MAX beats the next competitor like by 50%. And that's true in our local markets too. The best thing we've got going at RE/MAX is our brand recognition and our per agent production. I mean, don't forget that. When you're talking to a seller about listing their house, would you like to list with the company that sells 50% more per agent than the next company down, et cetera, et cetera? Use those graphs and charts because they're great, whether they're ones from International on the RE/MAX Main Street or whether they're ones we post for you on our 24/7. I would encourage you to use that. The business tip this week, they talked about it a lot back at the convention as well. They were talking about, and we talked about it here a couple weeks ago, go back to your database and get a hold of your folks that aren't investors and talk to them about maybe buying an investment property. Properties, as you know, are at a lower than they've been in years and years and years. Hopefully they're not going to go any lower, but you never know. But with the interest rates at under 5% and the property value significantly down, this is a great time for a potential investor to look at that. So don't focus just on your investor clients like, oh, I don't have any investor clients. Take those people that own a house, that have a good job, and talk to them about taking some money out of their savings account that's earning 0.5% if they've got a good one, and putting it into real estate and perhaps buying an investment property. Great opportunities for some people that have never thought of doing that. You've got the resources and the education. You can help them get there. Some birthdays this week. Coach Brent Cole on Wednesday is having his final RE/MAX Rowdies game this year, so hopefully he'll have a win. It's also his birthday. Happy birthday, Brent. Candy Beerholt, sorry about that, Candy, up in the Albany office on Saturday is her birthday, and Sunday Diana Easton right here in Eugene is having a birthday, so happy birthday to everybody. Again, talking point this week, I can't emphasize it enough, dig through your database for investors, new first-time investors. Welcome them to the world of investing in real estate, and you can use your knowledge and get there and turn those clients that buy one thing every 5, 6, 7 years into buying a couple things. That's what I got this week. Have a great week.